Hey there, toy collector friends and Transformers fans alike, and fans of physical media. Welcome back to the channel. I am the Triple TC, that is the time traveling toy collector. And today we are looking initially at the Transformers Skybound collected works, and this is volume 3. If you've been following my physical media playlist, you'll see that we've already looked at the combined volumes 1 and 2. And I'll bring those out a bit later just so we can see what they will look like together. But this is the retelling of the G1 Transformers story in a far more, dare I say, adult version than perhaps it would have been done back in the 80s. That's the artwork. There's a bit of a spoiler in terms of the title of the volume, which they've called Combiner Chaos. Foreshadowing. But here we can see Starscream on the front cover. All the names of the contributors at the top and that lovelies, and it's a beautiful piece of artwork and very nicely reflective and shiny. But there we have Starscream not looking in the best of health. Now, like with the other appreciations of this, I'm not going to go into huge details of what's inside because I do not want to spoil it for you, because as I've said before, this Skybound take on the G1 universe really is something to behold. It's an epic retelling, and unlike the more child-friendly versions of the Transformers comic and cartoon, they don't pull their punches when it comes to, you know, dealing with some heavy stuff. You've got some serious soldiers in distress, and you've got some serious battlefield end games. So there's a nice glossy piece of art of Optimus there on the back, and there we can see the additional information. Energon Universe, Hasbro, of course, and the War for Cybertron has forever changed the fate of two worlds, which is an extension on the last one, which I think was just the fate of two worlds. So again, yep, there's foreboding here, and you can see a bit more around there, but this is issues 13 to 18 and a story from the Energon Universe 2004 special, all combined together, ironically, in this volume. So I will do a bit of a flick through, just so you can see some of the artwork. I'm trying to be careful, because I don't want to do is show anything that might be horrendously spoilery, but there is something. It's full of flashbacks and various other bits and pieces to the start of the war, and I mean, the clue on the front is Starscream. There's quite a bit of focusing on how Starscream gets signed up to the war, and who he's with when that happens, and the circumstances of where he got his name from, which is an interesting development that I didn't see coming. So you may have seen some characters there that appear in the flashbacks retelling of Starscream's journey into the Decepticons, and the fight back in the day. But it is very, very gripping. It really does a great job in terms of fleshing out these characters, and yeah, they're still the same characters we know and love, or know and despise, but they are fleshed out. And again, I think part of the beauty of the uncertainty factor of this range and this telling of this universe's story is that no one is safe, and I do like that, when it genuinely is a case of, in this universe, no one is safe. You know, that the plot armor falls away, and characters that you may think, well, they're going to be here till the end, their end comes a lot quicker than you might think. And characters who may have been secondary characters, or maybe you know, whatever, seem to survive where perhaps they don't necessarily in other media. But so I'm trying to sort of dance around the edges and not tell you anything about the content in terms of the story, other than to say, do please, I really, if you're a fan of comics, I'm someone that loved the comics in the 80s. Then I sort of went into a phase of not being into comics. They took time, they took space, blah, blah, blah. And it was only with other people really hammering home how great the Skybound stuff was that I thought, you know what, I'm gonna get the combined volume, and I did. So I got volume 1, and honest to goodness, I couldn't stop raving about it. It really is excellent, and volume 2 lived up to the everything that volume 1 set up, and pleasingly, volume 3 does the same. Volume 4 is already available to pre-order, by the way. I don't know if some people are, like to see it. This is the spine. It follows the same color coding. So that's the spine. There's the big nice number 3, so you can easily make sure they're in the right place. So yeah, Transformers, Combiner Chaos, and it's volume 3 of the Skybound. I can bring in their compatriots, so we can have all 3 of the volumes together. You can see there's a slight color deviation in the Transformers for each one, and I guess kind of that's okay. It would be nice if they were the same size, but that's just me being a little bit, you know, whatever. And it would also be nice if the actual titles on the spines were aligned or centralized or something, just so that didn't happen. Because again, however you choose to have them on your shelf, the numbers line up, so that's a blessing. But yeah, they could have done a little better with that and a little better with that. And just as a reminder, there we have the wonderful cover of Volume 1, Optimus getting ready to spring into action. Then we have the wonderful cover for Volume 2, Transport to Oblivion. Spoiler, it's not Oblivion, but it is somewhere else. And here we have Volume 3, and again, that delightful, cheery face that everyone loves in terms of Starscream. So let me know, because I'm really interested. Do comics appeal to you? Were you hooked at all on the Transformers original comics? Do you have prior knowledge of the Skybound comics? Have you collected them as individuals, or have you, like me, found them through the sort of combination combined issues sort of releases like these? I'd love to know what you think. Obviously, we could avoid spoilers. That would be fantastic in the comments. But I'm just curious. I'm just curious to know what you, as additional Transformers collectors and fans, are thinking of this comic range. I think I personally, it's no secret, they hooked me really quickly. I really liked how they approached the. It isn't an alternate universe to my knowledge, but it's just a retelling of the G1 story, and they're retelling it really well, and everyone is recognizable. They pull out all sorts of characters there, particularly in Volume 3. Again, I'm finding myself seeing a whole load of characters popping up, and the stakes are high. You know, the stakes are high. And as I've said, no one is safe. Transformer, human, no one is safe. So if that kind of thing appeals to you, this will appeal to you. If it doesn't, then it won't, and that's just life. But if you are relatively new to Transformers or Transformers collecting, and you want to know a bit more about the characters, because we don't have an awful lot of media support at the moment in terms of characters, especially the various universes they come from. Yep, you can probably find it on YouTube or streaming services. But if you want to get a sense of some of the characters or the toys you might be playing with, this might be another way in for you. I might suggest you consider this. They're really good. Honestly, if I didn't think they were really good, or I had issues with them, I either wouldn't bother even looking at them, and I certainly wouldn't waste your time by suggesting that they were a good idea. But as I say, don't just take my word for it. I actively encourage anyone that's collected these or have read the individual issues to let me know down below and share the love, if love is what you have, for these tales with the wider community. I think they're great, and I love that you know it's the story we all know of them coming to Earth and the war on Cybertron, etc. But it's also very much not the story we know. It's a lot darker and grittier, and you know, I don't want to say too much, so I'm not going to say any more. I'm going to leave you by suggesting that if you've enjoyed this and you like this sort of content, then please do drop a like to the video, and it would be fantastic, and I know you hear this from everyone, but it would be fantastic if you could drop an absolutely totally free subscription to the channel, as it really does help me reach my next subscriber milestone, and it doesn't cost you a penny, and there's no obligation to watch everything. You might only like Transformer stuff, that's great, just stick around for the Transformer stuff. You might also like G.I. Joe or Doctor Who or Star Wars or Battlestar Galactica or Star Trek or, goodness me, Friends or all sorts of things. All sorts of things. I mean, it's just bonkers. So have a look around. You might see something you like. Anyway, for now, thank you very much for spending the last 10 minutes or so with me. I have been the Triple TC. That is the Time Travelling Toy Collector. You've been a fantastically wonderful audience. This has been the Transformers Skybound issues 13 to 18. I think that's right. Let me just double check. Yeah, 13 to 18. Combination issue, volume 3 of the collected comics of their range. And I, for one, think it's brilliant. Just remains for me to say that I look very much forward to seeing you in a future video and, as the Time Travelling Toy Collector, possibly a past video. But what I will say is that a thing of beauty really is a toy, or a toy adjacent franchise, forever. Take care. Bye-bye for now.